Hey there, boys and girls. My name is Mr. Andrew, and I'm from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Oxnard and Port Hueneme, and I'm here to teach you a STEAM activity. In today's STEAM activity, we're going to be creating a car. Well, not a car, but a car. Not this type of car. So, hope you guys were looking for a good car. The type of car we're going to be making is a wind power car. The kind of car that's powered by wind. Almost like the old school kind of boats that were powered by wind. A sailboat, like this one right here. Now, the way we're going to make this is we're going to need some materials. So let's go ahead and check over here, and I'll show you what materials we're going to be using for today's activity. For today's activity, we're going to have a couple different materials. We need 3 pencils. Doesn't matter what length, as long as they are long enough to fit into our main subject, which our main subject is going to be this container. For me, 2 of them will fit, and that is all I need. As you can see, they will fit going horizontally along its vertical path. You can use other items such as a roll from a paper roll, or something else that is lengthy like this, that has a width short enough that you can fit your pencils, or even if you have skewers that you can fit into it. Some other items that we're going to be using today are lids. We only need 4 of them, but I have some more just in case there's a mess up. You can use other items such as bottle cap lids, or even from a water bottle, you can use one of those lids as well. We're going to have some tape. It doesn't matter what type it is, as long as it is strong enough to hold what we're going to be taping. A hole puncher, a piece of paper, and lastly, we're going to need a fan of some sort for our activity. Okay, so now that we know what materials we're using today, let's go ahead and talk about our activity. The activity we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning about how we can use different types of motion to cause energy. Energy is used in the form of, well, energy, like how we have energy. When we get excited, when we want to play basketball, and we just want to run, that kind of energy. But this is more scientifical energy, like heat and energy or power. You can't use energy to define energy. That doesn't work, does it? So, the type of power we're using today is wind. Normal day cars are ran by gas, electricity, and stuff like that. Now, they never really made a car that worked off of wind. Not that I'm aware of. And the type of car we are designing today is a wind power vehicle. And we're going to be using the materials we just covered earlier. And we're going to really just be showing you how to make it. If you want to modify this or extend it on your own, feel free to. This is just a really basic version of a wind power car. And no, we're not going to be able to sit in it. It's going to be a small one, as you saw. Unfortunately, I don't have the materials to make a huge style wind type car that you can sit in and drive around in. But hey, maybe you guys have the materials at home and you go ahead to extend this activity and make something bigger like that. So let's go ahead and step back over here, and we're going to cover our activity. Okay guys, so now that we know what we're building, let's go ahead and explain how we're going to build it. So first things first, we need to make sure at least 2 of our pencils are sharp so that it can pierce through this lid. So I'm going to go ahead and sharpen these, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so now I got my 2 pencils sharpened. Let's go ahead and continue. So I'm going to need 4 of these lids. Again, I have quite a bit here just in case there's a mess up. I'm going to move those aside. So we're going to take our 4 lids, and what we need to do is we need to make a hole somewhere near the center. On these ones, you may not be able to see on the camera, but there's a little dot right here in the center that I know where the center is at. So I'm going to make my holes right there. During this part, make sure you're being safe. I would use my hole puncher, but it's a little small and will not reach to where I need to punch it at. So that's why I'm not going to use it for this part of the activity. But if you have a parent or guardian, or maybe you have a better utensil you can use to make this hole safely, go ahead and use that. But right now, this is what I have to do to make my hole. Now, as you can see, I want to make sure the hole is big enough so the pencil will go all the way through it, like this. Because as you saw, we're making a car, so we need to make sure it can rotate along the axle of this car. An axle is what holds the wheels together for our project. So we're using the pencil as our axle for our project. Okay, so we have our first wheel, and as we see, it rotates just fine. It moves, and it goes. Okay, so we're gonna take this and put it aside, and then we're gonna work on our second wheel. If you have a parent or guardian at home, to make this inspection a little bit easier, they could help you by heating the plastic so it'll be easier to poke the hole through it. But if you don't have a parent, just go ahead and do it how you're doing it. Just make sure you're doing it safely. So now we have our two axles with our wheels on them. That's perfect. They both roll, as you can see. Perfect. So now we're going to come over here to our body of our car, and we're going to take our hole puncher and we're going to punch 2 holes in them. We want to make sure that the wheel holes are in the right spots on both sides so that it is parallel to each other. One side is parallel to the other so that our axle fits perfectly and it's not making a turn, so the car is going to end up turning. We want to make sure the front wheel and the back wheel have a good distance from each other, like so that the wheels aren't hitting each other. Because if they end up hitting each other, it may cause a problem. Now that looks like a good distance. They're not going to hit each other too much or at all. So let's continue with what we're doing. So now we have our holes punched out. We're going to take our wheel off. And we're going to take our pencil and we're going to feed it through. Now this hole is a little bit small, so I have to make it a little bit bigger with the pencil, but that's okay, because it's still going to work out just fine. And if your wheel is falling off of your project, this is where we're going to use our tape at to make sure the wheel is more stable. But as you can see, my wheels are holding on just fine, so I don't need to put tape on these wheels. Okay, so now we're going to take our second wheel and we're going to stick it through here. Again, turning our axle a little bit to make sure that the wheel axle can go through the hole. Right now we have a tripod wheel, a tripod car, and we got that on there. Okay, now those wheels don't rotate very well, so that's not going to be good. What we need to do is we need to make these holes a little bit bigger so we can get this to work. So I'm going to take the wheels out and we're going to make them a little bit bigger with our hole puncher. Let's see, that should go in there, rotate just fine. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing over here, making the hole a little bit bigger so we can get our project to work. It rotates pretty well. Yeah, it rotates, see? Okay, so let's go ahead and do the same thing for this wheel up here. Okay, let's check it. Now that front, there we go. Yeah. See, it rotates fine. Now we got ourselves a moving car. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this body of the car and put it aside. Now we're going to use our second wheel to make our flag. You can choose to design your flag, color it, draw on it, whatever you want to do. But for the sake of the purpose of the activity, to make this a little bit faster, we're going to skip that section. So if you want to design your flag, feel free to pause here and do that. In this section, we don't really want the flag to move around so much, so we do want our holes pretty tight on this one. If our flag moves too much, we can easily use tape to hold it together, which I'll probably do either way, even if it doesn't move around much, just for the sake of this activity. Take our first pencil, get it in there, get our tape. And you don't have to use this exact type of tape. It's just the easiest tape I had on hand. You can use any type of tape. You can use Scotch tape. You can use regular tape. Whatever you may have on hand to use, and it's easy of access to you to use for this activity. So as you can see, I'm putting the tape on here to hold our pencil in place so that it doesn't move around too much. Second part, I should probably have done this the other way around. Okay. Take our second one and put it on like that. So now we have a flag, not really a flag, but more of a mass that holds our flag together, or our mass together, to project it together forward with the air that we're going to have go through it. So now I'm going to take this guy, and he'll be right here in the center. Should make it a little bit more taller. Adjust it so it doesn't hit your wheels, because we don't want anything to cause any problems. Then we're going to tape it down. When taping down your mass, make sure you do not tape your axles, because if you tape the axles, it's not going to rotate. So don't get any of the tape on or near the axle, because we don't want the axle to be stuck in place. You want it to free spin and move as it would normally. Of course, if you want to be able to move the axle, well, not the axle, but the mass at any time, make sure that you leave enough pressure on it so that it can freely rotate around as well at your will. I'm not making this the prettiest mass in the world. I'm just trying to get this thing together as best as I can. Okay. As you can see, right here, our mass has fallen over and has stopped our wheels from moving. So, a better solution would probably be to use something that's a little bit taller than this pencil. Let's see if we can find anything that can work. Okay, so I can't find anything that's taller, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pin here, take the cap off, put it through the hole, and I'm going to tape it together like this, right here in the center, so it gives us a little bit more height onto our mass, like so. Just going to tape that together and see if this works out. The fun thing about these experiments is trial and error. You just gotta try things out. If it messes up, find a new way to do it. As you see right now, this wasn't initially part of my plan for when making this activity. My initial plan was just use that pencil and it would work. But because that was an error, I have to try something new, which is taping this pin and pencil together to give us a taller mass. Like so. See? From this angle, you can't really tell there's anything wrong with this mass. When you turn it behind it, you can see. So let's go ahead and take this mass and we're going to tape it on. So you see now we have no problem with it trying to hit the wheels. It is well high enough to where it's not going to hit the wheels at all. So let's tape this on there and continue with the project. If you want, you can even tape it towards the front of the boat or car. I'm used to making this for a boat. But keep in mind that if you do tape it towards the front, it could fall off or it could get interfered with the wheels. Now, we need something to counterweight it because it's falling over. Let's take this bottle here. The problem is this mass is sticking straight forward. We need it to be sticking up like so. Now, there. I'm going to take the lid of that pin I had earlier, I'm going to put it in there. It's still going to cause some problems. It's okay. Just got to change the location of it. Okay. Now we got our mass on there. I'm going to secure it just a little bit more before we continue, and then we'll go on over to the test course and see how well it fares when we use wind from our fan that we have to project our cart forward. Okay. One more secure tape here in front. And we have our car. So let's go ahead and try with the wind and see if it moves forward or not. We have our fan here and we have our car. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna set it up like so, and I'm gonna turn it to the lowest setting possible. So right now it's on the lowest setting the fan can go. And take our car, oh, it's already pushing it, and see how well it goes. Uh-oh, that didn't work. Seems like we need some counterweight to this. So again, we're going to put our counterweight here. Counterweight back here. And let's see if that changes how it's going to go. Fan on. flag or car? Okay. Now that you guys have seen how to make this car, or maybe you guys even followed along and you made it with me. Who knows? But again, here's our little car that we made. A nice little boat car, sailboat car, wind power car, whatever you want to call it. Again, extend this activity by finding ways to modify what I've done. Modify the boat I have. Modify it in a way that makes it your vehicle. Makes it yours. Not as in like drawing on it, coloring it. No. I'm talking about using what you learned here today to take different materials, take different items, make something better out of this. Maybe you can make it so it doesn't need that counterweight in the back to hold it up when it's moving. Try it out. See what happens. Most importantly, I hope you guys had fun doing this activity. That's the purpose of this. To have fun and really just have excitement doing it until we can come back together, until we can just have fun together. Just make sure you guys stay safe. I know you guys are out there having fun. Maybe going and seeing your friends. That's okay. Just make sure to stay safe. Wear a mask if you're out in public or within 6 feet of somebody. They may not look cool. That's why you can make your own mask. Buy something that looks cool. You know, just like your clothes. You gotta wear them, right? Well, make sure you wear your mask. Make sure that you stay safe. Wash your hands when you can. And if you are at home and you don't really have anything better to do, why don't you give us a look at our social medias here on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at BGCOPH. Make sure you subscribe, follow, tune in, however you want to phrase it. Just make sure you check in with us, okay? We care about you guys. Until next time, have a great day, guys. Bye.